I have been separated from my ex-wife for over a year, and while our divorce has been filed, it has not yet been finalized due to court backlogs in my area. My ex-wife and I were together for 17 years, married for 13 of those years. We got married young, and over time, we grew apart. We have 3 children together, all of whom were adopted. My ex-wife has fertility issues, and we decided to adopt to help children in need. Our divorce has been relatively amicable, and we've agreed to split our assets and child care responsibilities evenly, 50-50ths. Both of us have moved on and started seeing other people. I have been in a relationship with my current girlfriend for a significant amount of time, and once the divorce is finalized, I plan to propose to her. Recently, my girlfriend became pregnant, and she is currently in her first trimester. I had initially planned to wait until the second trimester to announce the pregnancy, but my youngest child, who is 8 years old, figured it out. This led me to tell all 3 of my children about the pregnancy and have a discussion with them about what this would mean for our family. However, I chose not to tell my ex-wife directly because I was concerned about hurting her feelings. Instead, I decided to make a public announcement on social media on a Monday, giving my children a couple of days to process the news. By Wednesday, my ex-wife found out about the pregnancy from our youngest child and had an emotional breakdown. She was very upset that I did not inform her privately before making a public announcement. She dropped our children off at my house and left to visit her family across the country, and since then, she has been refusing to speak to me. She believes I should have told her about the pregnancy directly before making a public announcement. Some people on Reddit have been asking about the timeline of events and whether there was any overlap between my ex-wife and my current girlfriend. To clarify, I was separated for 6 months before I started dating my girlfriend, and she was the first person I dated after the separation. Although we work for the same company, we work at different sites and had only met online during meetings. We first met in person in July, after I was already separated. There was no cheating involved in our relationship. I didn't even start talking to her until after my ex-wife and I were separated and the divorce was filed. I have a moderate anxiety disorder and struggle with confrontation, which contributed to my decision not to tell my ex-wife directly. I was hoping she would see the announcement on social media without me having to have a difficult conversation with her. After seeing the feedback on Reddit, I realized I was wrong not to inform her directly. I sent her a text apologizing, saying, "I would like to apologize for being an idiot. The internet has spoken, and the majority have voted that I was an idiot. I will keep you in the loop on major life changes in the future." In response, my ex-wife texted me back, stating that she was blocking me for now, and that I should contact her father if there is an emergency involving our kids. Later, she texted me again, saying she understood that I had mishandled the situation, but still felt that it was unkind and cowardly not to inform her directly. She emphasized that this is not the way to co-parent effectively, and that my actions put our kids in awkward situations. Given all this, I'm reflecting on whether I was wrong for not telling my ex-wife about my girlfriend's pregnancy before making a public announcement. I understand now that I should have had a direct conversation with her about it, despite the discomfort it might have caused. My husband and I have been together for 6 years, and every year around Easter, we make it a tradition to visit his family. We usually stay for about a week. This year, like all the others, we plan to visit his mother's house, where his brother and his 2 young daughters, aged 5 and 7, would also be staying. Recently, my husband was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He has always faced some mental health challenges, but he's never been violent or extremely unpredictable. His symptoms mainly involve auditory hallucinations, but if you didn't know about his diagnosis, you might just think he seemed uncomfortable or a bit distracted. When we initially informed his mother about his diagnosis, she seemed a bit taken aback, but generally supportive. However, a few days ago, while my husband was discussing our Easter plans with her, she bluntly told him that she didn't think we should come. She said our nieces were afraid of having him around, as they were too young to understand his condition. She felt that his presence might make everyone uncomfortable and that it might be too much for him to handle. She suggested we visit at another time. My husband didn't argue with her, and later that evening, he told me what had happened. He was clearly upset, but he didn't say much other than agreeing with her reasoning. I was absolutely furious when I heard this. I felt it was incredibly unfair to exclude him based on his mental health. Despite my husband's request for me to let it go, I decided to call his mother while he was at work. I admit I was very harsh during the call. I told her that it was my brother-in-law's responsibility to teach his children about tolerance and understanding, and that the girls were definitely old enough to learn about their uncle's condition in a way that wouldn't frighten them. I accused her of being a terrible mother for being willing to exclude her own son, and told her that if that was how she felt, we didn't want to be there anyway. After this confrontation, she called my husband in tears, which led to his brother calling me and telling me how awful I was for speaking to their mother like that. Now, my husband is even more upset and is angry with me for not respecting his wish to handle it quietly. I realize that my actions may have caused him more pain and stress than if I had just kept quiet. I feel terrible about the whole situation. I understand that it might have been better to handle this differently, perhaps by presenting a united front with my husband rather than acting on my own. I still believe that what his mother did was incredibly hurtful and unfair, but maybe it wasn't my place to confront her in that manner. I just wanted to stand up for my husband, but now I fear I may have caused more harm than good. Am I in the wrong for how I handled this? I don't think my husband's mental illness should be a reason for his family to exclude him, especially when he's not a threat to anyone. It's so frustrating to see him think he deserves this kind of treatment, and I can't help but feel that my reaction, though perhaps poorly executed, came from a place of love and frustration.